The engineers who survive artificial intelligence will not always be the smartest people in the room. They will be the people who adapt fastest. I have watched technology change engineering for more than 20 years. I watched CAD replace drafting tables. I watched outsourcing change entire departments. I watched automation remove tasks that once required entire teams. And now artificial intelligence is changing the way engineers design, analyze, communicate, and make decisions. But here is the part many Christian professionals do not want to hear. AI may not replace you because you are not intelligent enough. It may replace you because you refuse to steward the intelligence God already gave you. Not because you lack ability, because you became too comfortable to adapt. Let me start by acknowledging something. The fear is real. People are watching companies reduce entry-level hiring. They are watching software generate reports, designs, code, presentations, and analysis. They are watching executives ask one employee to do the work that once required 3 or 4 people. So when someone says, AI is going to change everything, that is not completely wrong. It will change many things. But fear has a way of making intelligent people passive, and passive people become vulnerable. The question is not simply, will AI take my job? That is too small a question. The better question is, which parts of my job are becoming easier to automate, and which parts of my value are becoming more important? That is the question mature professionals are asking. Because artificial intelligence can process information, but it cannot take responsibility for the consequences of a decision. It can generate an answer, but it cannot carry the moral weight of that answer. It can produce a design, but it cannot stand in front of a client, a team, or a regulator and explain why that design should be trusted. That difference matters. In Matthew chapter 25, Jesus tells the story of a master who gives 3 servants different amounts of money before leaving on a journey. One receives 5 talents, another receives 2, the third receives 1. The first 2 servants invest what they were given. They take responsibility. They create increase. But the third servant buries his talent in the ground. And when the master returns, the servant explains that he was afraid. He did not lose the talent through reckless behavior. He buried it because he was afraid of what might happen. That is the danger for many professionals today. They are not lazy. They are not incapable. They are afraid. Afraid to learn something new. Afraid to look inexperienced. Afraid that technology will expose what they do not know. So they bury their ability under excuses. They say, "That is not my job. I have always done it this way. I do not trust these tools. I am waiting to see what happens." But waiting is not always wisdom. Sometimes waiting is fear wearing professional clothing. God did not give you gifts so you could hide them from a changing world. He gave you gifts so you could steward them. The issue is not whether you use every new technology. The issue is whether you are willing to keep growing. Now let us be practical. AI is most likely to replace tasks before it replaces entire professions. That means you need to identify the tasks inside your role that are repetitive, predictable, and easy to measure. Documentation, basic reporting, routine analysis, data cleanup, first draft communication, standard calculations, scheduling, information retrieval. If a task follows the same pattern every time, it is vulnerable. But that does not mean your career is finished. It means the definition of your value must grow. The engineer who only produces a calculation is vulnerable. The engineer who understands the calculation, the customer, the risk, the business case, and the human consequences becomes more valuable. The analyst who only creates a report is vulnerable. The analyst who can interpret the report, challenge the assumptions, and help leadership make a wise decision becomes more valuable. The manager who only passes information between departments is vulnerable. The leader who creates clarity, builds trust, resolves conflict, and takes responsibility becomes more valuable. AI can produce information. It cannot replace wisdom. AI can generate options. It cannot replace judgment. AI can accelerate work. It cannot replace character. And those are not just business ideas, they are biblical principles. Proverbs says that when we acknowledge God in all our ways, He directs our paths. That means your career is not separate from your discipleship. How you learn matters. How you use power matters. How you treat people matters. How you respond to change matters. Let me describe three professionals. The first professional resists everything. They complain about AI. They criticize younger workers. They talk constantly about how things used to be. They are experienced, but they are no longer curious. The second professional uses AI carelessly. They trust every answer. They do not verify the output. They expose confidential information. They allow a tool to make decisions they should own. That person may appear modern, but they are not wise. The third professional learns to use AI responsibly. They understand its limits. They verify the information. They protect confidential data. They use AI to increase their capacity, not avoid responsibility. That is the person organizations will trust. That is the person who becomes difficult to replace. And that is the posture I want to encourage you to develop. Not fear, not blind enthusiasm, faithful stewardship. If this is helping you think differently about your career, subscribe to the channel. I speak to engineers, entrepreneurs, and Christian professionals who want to grow without losing their values. And comment the word ADAPT below. I am preparing a practical AI adaptation guide for professionals who want to know what to learn, what to avoid, and how to stay valuable in a changing workplace. Comment ADAPT so you can receive it when it is available. Here is the framework I recommend for the next 90 days. Phase 1. Observe. For the first 30 days, do not begin by buying every tool. Begin by studying your own work. Write down the tasks you repeat every week. Which tasks consume the most time? Which tasks require the least judgment? Which tasks create delays? Which tasks could be improved with better information? You cannot improve what you have not identified. Phase 2. Experiment. For the next 30 days, choose 1 or 2 low-risk tasks. Use AI to create a first draft. Use it to organize information. Use it to compare options. Use it to help you prepare questions. But verify everything. Do not hand over your judgment. Use the tool as an assistant, not as your conscience, not as your authority, not as your replacement. Phase 3. Integrate. During the final 30 days, connect the tool to a real business outcome. Can you reduce turnaround time? Can you improve communication? Can you help your team make better decisions? Can you identify risk earlier? Can you serve customers more effectively? That is how you move from merely knowing about AI to creating value with AI. The goal is not to become the person who talks about technology the most. The goal is to become the person who uses technology to solve meaningful problems. There are at least 5 things AI will struggle to replace. First, trust. People want to know whether they can trust your word. Second, moral courage. Someone must make the difficult decision when the answer is unclear. Third, relationships. Teams do not become strong because information is available. They become strong because people feel respected and understood. Fourth, ownership. When something goes wrong, someone must take responsibility. Fifth, wisdom. Knowledge tells you what is possible. Wisdom tells you what is right. That is why your faith matters in the workplace. Your faith is not an escape from professional excellence. It is the foundation for using excellence responsibly. Daniel served in a culture that did not share his convictions, but he did not become careless. He became excellent. He did not abandon his identity. He carried his identity with integrity. You can do the same. You can learn new tools without worshiping technology. You can pursue advancement without making success your God. You can adapt without compromising your convictions. The most dangerous person in the AI era is not the person who knows nothing. It is the person who knows enough to remain comfortable. They have a good salary. They have a respectable title. They have years of experience. They have learned how to survive. But surviving is not the same as growing. And a comfortable career can become a hidden prison. You may not be called to leave your profession. You may be called to bring greater wisdom into it. You may not need to abandon engineering. You may need to expand your influence beyond the technical work. You may not need to run from AI. You may need to learn how to use it with discipline, discernment, and purpose. The future belongs to professionals who combine competence with character, technical ability with wisdom, innovation with responsibility, faith with excellence. That combination is powerful. So here is the message. AI will change your work, but it does not have to destroy your purpose. God has already given you something technology cannot manufacture: your character, your judgment, your relationships, your responsibility, your ability to serve, your ability to lead. Do not bury those gifts because the world is changing. Steward them, develop them, use them faithfully. The comfortable may be replaced, but the faithful, adaptable, and responsible professional will continue to create value. I am Eric Donaldson. Follow me for global trade, leadership, and building a legacy. And comment ADAPT below if you want the AI Mastery Roadmap.